What is going on, people? Welcome back. Johnny here, and we are back for some more Beastmen chaos. The Ben F is enjoying the raiders traveling across and growing the herd and just causing mayhem. Thank you, Ben, for the comment. You're a fantastic soul, my friend. I appreciate you viewing. And see, before this one's over, we're going to have all kinds of crap going on. And we have still yet to reach our bloody destination, but we are tracking there as quickly as we can. Regardless of that, here's where we start out for this episode. And our caravan is 14.4 days away from the destination, the final destination. There is still a few cities we could attack. I found out I could trade with the cities, actually, by the time we get over there. We could also attack some of these other things, but attacking the cities is a lost cause. It's fun, but it's like a multi-day long commitment. We have tons of meat. We need to make offerings just to get rid of all this extra meat. See if we can't get a bunch more Slangors, which is a double-edged sword, because you get another crappy pawn with a weapon that's worth like $7,000. So it doesn't really do you any favors. You can see we continue to offer up meat to Slanesh. Feminist fast learner, or Masochist fast learner. Oh, maybe I had the wrong guy selected there. That guy's not a terrible pawn in terms of traits, but regardless, we are doing fine. We do keep getting these chalices, which will give somebody plus 32 for 1 year. The Chaos Ogre is still pretty badass. I like having Zrod on board. Group of travelers from the Ogre tribe are passing by. Now that we have several allies, we have all this bone and all this stuff around. I'm going to just make bone floors everywhere. Seems like when we bail here, it would be a cool thing to leave for stupid humans to find later on in the future. So let's just go nuts. I don't even know that we have enough bone to accomplish what we're trying to do here. Certainly not, actually. But you can see our wealth is getting pretty bananas. It's, what, 323,000. So if we get raided, we're going to be looking at the wrong end of a whole shitload of centipedes or something like that. So we have to do something about it. I'm debating on attacking some humans here at a human settlement. We could use the food. Our caravan is getting short on food. One interesting thing I noticed here and it makes perfect sense. You can see it's a gentle snow and it's 20 hours in the day. So it's almost midnight pushing, and at the caravan, it's like 12, 15 hours difference. See, it's 13 hours here. It's like a 10-hour difference. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And the temperature, though, 86 degrees Fahrenheit, so significantly warmer as well. Our horse is starving. Mare 4. Back home, the animals don't have much to eat, so we are going to attack the human settlement. We're not going to get any joiners this way, but we will get a whole lot of meat and leather. And I don't think these settlements generally have a ton of loot. I think if they'd start putting it in there, probably be inclined to attack settlements. Zertag here had a mental break. He's wandering psychotically or something stupid. Needless to say, he's going to get his ass kicked here. He's going to get plucked full of arrows. And whatever. There's Bull Gorger. So they're casting, one of them's an ogre mage. Yeah, and Zertag dies. So we've lost the only Minotaur we had on the caravan. But, hey-ho, what are you going to do? Beastmen are a dime a dozen, clearly, based on the massive amount of pawns we have. Any of these fools dumb enough to come in, Gloomfang gives up at that point. We'll just tainted. Yeah, the Ungors don't like wearing tainted apparel. Gloomfang's going to get his ass kicked here, and he's going to go down too, probably. Whatever. I don't care. They're still attacking him, even though he's decided to leave my faction. Moxog is down and injured in there, too. And I think he has actually had a catatonic break a while ago. I'm not quite sure how he ended up in there, but whatever. Either way, Gloomfang gets owned and goes down. We just start sending our beasties down with the big Billy badass weapons. That magic sword is going to be pretty phenomenal. Regardless, it doesn't take long. They all come charging at us, and we smash them to bits. Alcohol binge for Nookhawk. Gave up for Fallen Tooth. The mental breaks just start pouring in here. But whatever. We have real problems. And any pawn that tries to leave us, we just thump them over the head, take them down, bring them back. I don't really care how. If they have to be imprisoned or if they have to get put out of our misery, that's fine too. I'm going to hang out here for a while and see if we can't do some recreation and butcher up a bunch of people. I think I need to give the Beastmen a massive mood boost when they smash an enemy settlement. I think that would make good sense just to keep Caravan moods up, because it's kind of a mess right now, and like it would be fitting for them. We do have a ton of stuff here yet to explore, but I'm not terribly concerned with it all. We have more important things to do. There's a bunch of mad manticores show up at that point, and they're no joke since they can spit acid or something. We're about 12 days away from our destination at this point, but we have some extra stuff we can sell. Our food supply is 15.9, but it's going to rot in only 8.7 days. Somehow that went up to 17.6 by the time the caravan actually left, probably because they start pulling food along the road as they will. So if they're foraging along the way, that does increase, obviously. So anyway, we're doing fine. We're just going to wait these manticores out. We were just out there building floors, wasting material and time, and keep making offerings. There's 6 more offerings. And the reason I keep doing meat to Slaanesh is because Slaanesh has the sacred number 6. It's easier to reach 6 times 6 every time to continue to get additional pawns. And you can see the food continues to dwindle. We're going to trade with that last Empire base if we ever make it over there. Do we have some cool weapons that showed up? There's Hochland long rifle and the equivalent of a scatter gun. So we're going to also end up just burning a bunch of material. I'm going to see what we can do to get the wealth of this place dramatically reduced. We have animal fat overflowing everywhere. The manticores are still hanging out and they're still pretty pissed off. 6.8 days to the trading destination here, not to the final destination. But you can throw another 4.5 on top of that. So we're still looking at roughly 11 days. I don't know why it's dumb. Oh, he's going outside because new pawn. Hearthstone gives me a pawn. I forget to restrict them. You can see item wealth is dropping. We're still at 318,000 though, so it's not dropping nearly as fast as I'd like it to. And it's at that point we get a psychic ship that falls just north. So we go outside and start getting hunted by wargs. What we need to do is just melee attack them with these awesome weapons, and we'll go down. The more the merrier in terms of animal hides, because we'll have a massive amount of wealth when we leave here that we can use. And now that most of the manticores have pissed off, we can also open up our doors again. And we're going to build a wall so we have some way to hide and go out there. And meanwhile, they're having a party, but the goal would be to be able to cast the mad Jabberslice on them once we wake them up and see if we can't use the Jabberslice trick again. It's really the best option I have for not getting most of my people overrun by centipedes at this point. And at the final destination, we'll try and do some super legitimate security. Here's how far these guys have traveled. It's quite a ways. It's always about a 60 to 70 day journey when you get that quest. So I think that's somehow just what the game shoots for. It's a whole year, pretty much, or just a touch over typically. I don't really need warnings when clothes rot away. We do arrive at a trading partner when I realize we can trade with the city. If you're on top of the city, there's no like right click option to trade. That was a mad muffalo, but there's a button that pops up at the bottom if you have your caravan selected, so you can trade with a city that way. But their trading options are very different for a big city than they are for if you were to like go to an actual like legit settlement. So I don't understand what's going on with that, but it's just always been that way. Anyway, Dirtle takes out another warg. I like how this giant Dirtle Cygor can ride on top of a fucking harpy. Just flatten it. With the new Empire gun, I hope he doesn't get himself blown to bits. We'll wake them up, and then we will go and madden all animals on the map. There's that. was effective, but holy shit, he got peppered there. Maybe you should go inside. Somewhere down south, there's a tick of that inside zone, or one square of it that needs to be cleared out. I'll have to remember to do that here. Did get shot to bits, so there's a Hydra over here. Hopefully, once we activate the Horn of Corn and all the animales go mad, they can deal with these dummies for us. Seems like a pretty tall order. There's a lot of gunfire coming in. All right, here we go. It's not looking good. Not looking good at all. There's nothing else. Oh, Hydra spitting acid or something there. That was interesting. Yeah, acid burned from the Lernian Hydra. That's badass. But it's over, and not a single mechanoid was murderized. We do have Savage Dominion, which will be our goal to continue to cast out. There's a wolf over on the right side. There is our first Savage Dominion. Galkraz. All right, I have to fix this damn zone. Everybody's running down there immediately when they shouldn't be, when they need to be going inside. There we go. That fixes that problem. Regardless, the Jabbers hold their own. There's one dead one now. So Galkraz goes out to do it again and ends up getting caught by some mad animals that we caused. We're going to have to let him go get himself tended up at this point. Actually, the Ring of Tending he's wearing auto-tends him. So there is that. Either way, we've done a bit of damage to them. Some ogres show up at that point. There's still a mad amount of animals running around here, so hopefully they can take these dudes out. One of our guys was inspired, but he's no longer inspired. There you go. So our people are 4.7 days away from their destination to trade with 11.8 days of food that's going to rot in 7 point something. The ogres just hang out despite mad animals being about yet. Seems like there's not too many left, though, at this point. And we do encounter a bulk goods trader, so you can buy pemmican off that person. That's fantastic. Can't really afford too much since we don't really have too much money, and they don't want to buy too much from us, but whatever. Increases our food situation a bit. We've overflowed our bedrooms, so people are sleeping in what used to be our prison. Another Jabba Slythe is taken out by those bastardly mechs. As a part of it, though, they do end up destroying their ship. And also, our trap corridor door is closed, so they're not going to try and make ingress to the base that way. Despite my preparations and my opening of the door, and I do cast Cloud of Flies down the corridor to see if we can do some damage to them on their way in. They're immune to the effects of toxic buildup, so there's no sense trying to do Air of Pestilence. I do need to turn off the shooting from my people with the explosion flaming Tzeentch staffs. You can see they're banging on my walls everywhere, and they do make ingress in the north. We do have to get over there and do something about that. Really worried about those people with the Tzeentch staffs blowing the pants off a bunch of my other people, so we'd have to be careful with that to some degree here. Cloud of Flies continues to do its thing, but no one's really coming down the corridor anyway, so at this point, I should roof that over so that the Cloud of Flies stays in there even longer. They do start shooting at me. We're just going to have to either charge them or get back far enough where they can't see us till they pop out somewhere. Still a whole shitload of mechs on the map, and this is a major problem. There's a decent chance we're going to lose a few people here, but again, Beastmen, dime a dozen. There you go. Hit him with them bat. Dude, that dude's taking such punishment. We need to actually stop shooting at them with that. I'm going to move my pawns around so I can more easily control or select them, the varied weapons that they might have. Got some Muffalo that creeped in. I do end up having some of them come down the main trap corridor. There's also a bunch of them in the south. Came through a wall. There's a downside of these shoddy Beastman walls that we are surrounding ourselves with. Not like the Dwarfs. So we do bring the ones in the south down with melee people, just tying them up in combat. And we're going to try and do the same with the ones that are coming in through the trap corridor. They take out the traps. They are being affected by the Cloud of Flies, so we do manage to drop one that way. Well, he could have been injured from having battled with Jabba Slice before. We do start battling them, and we have to send Zrod out into the Cloud of Flies to start swinging on that bastard centipede, but it doesn't take long. These dudes are seriously heavy hitters, and think we got them all. Very nice. We do have mechs everywhere, and we're missing walls everywhere. And it's at that point that a whole shitload of scythers show up, and all of our walls are, as yet, not all, but there's still some serious spots where they can make ingress. Also, we haven't rebuilt the traps. It's just raid after raid. Galcross is going to go over there and try and summon a Jabba on their asses. It's always my best tactic at this point. I intentionally made that spell very short range. Since they're just screwing around preparing, I'm just going to restrict everybody to inside. And I guess we'll wait. Maybe we can get out with Galcross and see if we can cause some damage to them. But finally they come. We recast Cloud of Flies at that point. And I was going to cast right down the corridor. They do decide to come in the wall in the north end of the base there rather than going down the corridor, probably because of the Cloud of Flies. There's a Java to help us out. Take that. And we're just going to start blasting with our staffs. Might as well use everything we have and throw it at them. I'm going to try and stay away from them so we don't kill the Java ourselves. Be nice if the Scythers had to deal with the threat and not the Beastmen. And when they come at us piecemeal like this, we just beat the shiza out of them. They just get peppered good. This Brace Scream spell does a very high amount of damage, but it's also very short range. And it's at that point that the Gray Pirates show up to raid us as well. So more fuel for the fire. I don't know. We do have a lot of dangerous weapons. There's grenades someone's carrying, and these explosion Zinch staffs. I'm being very careful. I think we've lost more pawns to that in this game than anything else at this point. So I'm going to send my melee people up there to see if we can't deal with the Scythers. 1 or 2 good hits should drop them. So we need a little bit of luck not to lose anybody, get anybody injured too majorly. But there you go. All right, so we've taken a handful of wounds and we're suffering a bit, but I don't really want to shoot these staffs too close to us. They do have some scatter that will blow us up nicely if it does hit us. Our Harpy is no more. There's a Jabba up there, and here come the pirates. As you can see, this has been one hell of a tough time. They do have some ogres with them, so maybe we can capture another Chaos Ogre. That'd be fun and interesting. And you can see the order of my pawns at the top has switched around. I've grouped them by weapon type so that I can more easily select them instead of having to manually click everybody every time. So I find that most frustrating. We can also cast Savage Dominion again, and if we can't tie them up with a Jabber. It's very effective as long as the Jabber doesn't come and try and attack your own pawns. So regardless, the party continues. We do have some of their people running around attacking our animals and destroying our shit. Some of them riding horses are very fast. The Scythers are actually tying them up nicely now. So, oh, there's a Wyvern. That's pretty cool. One of them's riding a lesser Wyvern. And, or I don't know, we shouldn't be really shooting at that Jabber. When the humans come through the trap corridor with the Cloud of Flies, it does a massive amount of damage to them. The tribals don't really have any armor, so it's not going to take much. Oh, that is perilously dangerous. One of our guys ended up dying from it. That's not good. Oh, he actually had a mental break and then stepped in the way of where we were shooting some pretty dangerous weapons. This, like, they're coming in piecemeal. Death of Mare number 2. That's the end of that. Some of them do have some pretty phenomenal weaponry or magic abilities. If they do shoot the flame storm in the middle of our base, we're just going to have to flee, see if we can gather up food. I guess we can wait out the tornado by running to the other side of the map, but it's going to be brutal. Either way, we're just trying to deal with these schmucks. There's a dwarf riding a bear. That's pretty awesome. The dwarf doesn't last long, and everybody's happy when he goes down. Here comes an ogre riding a muffalo. That is a fucking nasty looking ogre weapon, I'll tell you that. All right, bam. It's too bad we're just murderizing everybody, but it'd be nice to capture some of these ogres at the very least. I need to watch where these things are shooting, and it's at that point that the pirates, the Gray Pirates, do decide to flee for whatever it's worth. They're going to we're going to continue to drop them so we can still butcher them. We do capture a few people, but we have a whole lot of work to do, so I'm not sure we're going to actually be able to get anywhere with these guys in terms of keeping them alive. When half the shit's destroyed, there's a giant mess everywhere. It's tough. It was very tough. Our caravan has 2.8 days left till it reaches its destination, and it's at that point that the Chaos Abominations should show up also. This is just pure brutality. So some of these raids are coming in due to the Herdstone, and we don't have doors on the base yet. We haven't cleaned up any of the mess from the battles. It's just going to shit, and hopefully we don't end up blowing up any of our own people here, because geez Louise, what a nightmare. Yeah, they're just ransacking the base. Unfortunately, they're not terribly coordinated, so they're coming in very piecemeal, and we can easily deal with them in that situation. But holy smokes, man, that was like, what was that? A psychic ship and then 3 big raids right in a row. And like defenses are minimal at this base. I didn't really focus on security at all. The anticipation of not staying too long. Fortunately, the weaponry we have is pretty bananas. There you go. With a wealth of like 320,000. They are. Of course, they always go smash up your living quarters for whatever reason. There's a bunch more coming here. Zrad, the Chaos Ogre, is down for the moment. I'll try and make it a priority to keep that guy alive, but I can't make any promises given the pure mayhem that's going on. The temperatures inside that room are pretty freaking hot. We are taking some burns from that. There's still more of them over there attacking the Lesser Wyvern from the Grey Pirates. So the Chaos Abominations got distracted by that guy. Finally, they take him down, and we're about to have more fighting here. Meanwhile, we're trying to put out fires yet. Holy shit balls, what a mess. So they're going around killing all the animals that belong to the Grey Pirates. You can see they set our crops on fire. Somebody just croaked. Somebody died of blood loss. I think it was one of the prisoners, actually. So not a major deal, but they're still coming in, man. What in the hell? They have my air conditioner for my food storage area on fire there as well. This is just insane. I have nobody over here that can actually fight fires. Rod can barely walk anymore. Psychite binge for Blood Tongue. Some other kind of mental break. And look at the moods on the caravan too, man. It is just nuts. So 2.3 days. We'll make it to, what's that called? Frankfurt? I did use a lot of German names, German city names for the Empire settlements, given that it's loosely based on Germany. So there is that, but we lost a lot of animals there. We've taken a fair amount of wounds, but I do continue to use Dirtle's ability to heal people rapidly. They took out one of my wind turbines, but I guess I'm not terribly concerned with it. We'll just get rid of it. Power's doing fine without it. Piss on it. We'll save the resources and see if we can get out of here. So we can burn bodies, or we can butcher them and offer the meat up to Slanesh again. Such an effort to do that. And everything took quite a beating there. Crops are burned, people are injured. The base is missing all manner of door and wall sections. And meanwhile, the caravan's doing well. The Warherd has 1.7 days left till we can make it to our final place for trading, and 5.5 days before it gets to its destination. So please leave a like if you are enjoying. Leave me a comment. I read them all. I respond. They get worked into the episodes. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.